The average American spends around $4,000 a year on gasoline. That's nearly $330 every single month just burning fuel. In Japan, drivers use a specific technique that has been perfected over decades. It reduces fuel consumption by 30% or more, without modifications, without expensive hybrids, just a completely different way of driving that most Americans have never heard about. Today, I'm going to explain exactly how this method works step by step, so you can start saving hundreds of dollars immediately. Stay until the end, because the last technique is the one that makes the biggest difference, and almost nobody practices it. Here's what's crazy. This is not some obscure secret. In Japan, it's called eco-driving, and it's been supported by the government since 2003. The Japanese Ministry of the Environment documented fuel savings of 20 to 30% among millions of drivers. Toyota, Honda, and Nissan built their driver training programs around exactly these principles. Yet in America, people still hammer the accelerator and wonder why their wallet is empty. Let me explain the 7 main techniques that make up this method, starting with the one that delivers immediate results. Technique number 1. The 5-second acceleration rule. Most Americans accelerate like they're at a drag race. They floor it right away, reach the speed limit quickly, then slam on the brakes at the next red light. This is the biggest waste of fuel in your daily driving routine. Japanese eco-driving teaches the 5-second rule. Take 5 full seconds to reach 20 miles per hour from a complete stop. That's it. Just count to 5 while you accelerate. Sounds ridiculously simple, right? Look at the data. Aggressive acceleration burns up to 33% more fuel than smooth acceleration. 1/3 of your gas just disappears because you wanted to reach the same red light faster. Think about that for a second. You're literally paying more to wait at the same traffic light as everyone else. The Japanese government tested this with 10,000 drivers. The average fuel improvement from this single change was 11%. 11% savings just by easing off the accelerator a little longer. With current gas prices in America, that's about $40 back in your pocket every month from one technique alone. Technique number 2. Anticipatory driving. This is where it gets interesting. Japanese drivers are trained to look 12 to 15 seconds ahead, not just at the car in front. If you see a red light 3 blocks away, start coasting now. If you notice brake lights lighting up further ahead in traffic, lift off the accelerator immediately. The goal is to never use the brakes unless absolutely necessary. Every time you brake, you're throwing away the momentum you paid for with fuel. It's like burning money and throwing the ashes out the window. A study by the Japanese Eco-Driving Promotion Network found that anticipatory driving alone reduced fuel consumption by 8 to 12% in city driving. And anyone commuting in Los Angeles, New York, or any major American city knows we spend a lot of time in stop-and-go traffic. Combined with smooth acceleration, you're already at 20% savings. Real-world example. A Japanese taxi company implemented these 2 techniques across their entire fleet of 500 vehicles. The annual fuel savings were enormous. Same cars, same routes, same drivers, just a different approach. Imagine the impact for an American Uber or Lyft driver who puts hundreds of miles on their vehicle every day. Technique number 3. The pulse and coast method. Now we're entering advanced territory. This technique seems counterintuitive, but the physics is undeniable. Instead of keeping constant pressure on the accelerator, you accelerate to slightly above your target speed. Then you completely release the accelerator and coast until you drop slightly below your target speed. Then repeat. On flat highways, this can improve fuel efficiency by 15 to 20% compared to cruising at constant speed. Why does it work? Your engine is more efficient under load. When you cruise at constant speed, the engine operates inefficiently, working just enough to overcome air resistance and rolling friction. When you pulse, you're letting the engine work efficiently for a short period, then coasting for free. Toyota engineers tested this method extensively while developing the Prius. They discovered that skilled drivers using Pulse and Coast could exceed the car's official rating by 20 to 40%. A hypermiler in Japan documented 40 kilometers per liter in a standard Prius using this technique. The official rating is 24. He nearly doubled it. This works on American highways too. Technique number 4. The cold start protocol. This surprises everyone. A lot of people still let the car idle in park for several minutes before driving, especially in colder regions of the country. This is pure fuel waste. Modern engines don't need long warm-up periods. Japanese eco-driving teaches the 30-second rule. Start the car, wait 30 seconds, then drive gently for the first few miles. Science explains it. Your engine warms up faster under light load than sitting in idle. With the engine idling, you're consuming about 0.4 to 0.6 gallons per hour just heating it up. Over a year of unnecessary warming, that's tens of dollars in wasted fuel without you noticing. The Japanese Ministry of the Environment calculated that if every driver reduced unnecessary idling by just 5 minutes per day, the country would save enough fuel to power millions of cars. That's billions of gallons from just 5 minutes per person. Millions of American drivers idle for far longer. Technique number 5. Maintaining ideal speed. Here's something your driving instructor never told you. Every car has a sweet spot for fuel efficiency, and it's almost never at highway speeds. For most vehicles, ideal fuel efficiency occurs between 35 and 50 miles per hour. Above 50 miles per hour, aerodynamic resistance increases exponentially. At 70 miles per hour, you use 15% more fuel than at 55 miles per hour. At 80 miles per hour, you use 25% more. In America, lots of people cruise highways at 75 to 80 miles per hour or faster, well above the efficiency sweet spot. Japanese highways have lower speed limits, and that's part of why their drivers stay much closer to the efficient speed. I'm not saying drive 55 miles per hour on the interstate. That would be unsafe. But think about it. If your trip allows you to maintain 60 instead of 75, you can save 15% fuel on that drive. Over a year of commutes, that adds up to hundreds of dollars. Technique number 6. Weight audit. Eco-driving includes something Americans almost never think about: regular vehicle weight audits. For every 100 pounds of extra weight, fuel efficiency drops approximately 1 to 2%. Might not seem like much, but what's in your trunk right now? Tools you grabbed once and left there. That jumper cable kit in a huge bag. Speakers, a toolbox, work materials piling up. A Japanese study found the average driver carried about 45 pounds of unnecessary items. Remove that weight and efficiency improved by almost 1%. Over the 12,000 miles Americans drive annually, the distance most people drive cars in daily use, that represents gallons and gallons of wasted fuel just carrying stuff you don't need. Roof racks are even worse. An empty roof rack increases aerodynamic drag by 10 to 25% depending on design. That roof rack you keep on your car year-round, you're paying an invisible tax of 5 to 15% on every gallon of fuel. Remove it when you're not using it. Technique number 7. Coasting fuel cutoff. This is the technique that makes the biggest difference, and almost nobody knows about it. When you completely release the accelerator pedal in a modern car with electronic fuel injection, the injectors shut off completely. The engine uses zero fuel during deceleration. Zero. The wheels are literally pushing the engine instead of the engine pushing the wheels. This means coasting in gear is dramatically more efficient than coasting in neutral. In neutral, your engine idles and burns fuel. In gear with your foot off the gas, fuel consumption drops literally to zero. Eco-driving enthusiasts in Japan maximize this by starting to coast much earlier than typical drivers. See a red light 600 feet ahead? Lift off the accelerator now. Let the car roll naturally while the injectors sleep. You're getting free miles. The math is impressive. the average driver spends about 30% of driving time decelerating. If you optimize this with proper coasting technique, you're traveling for free almost one-third of total distance. A Japanese transportation study measured this at 7 to 9% total fuel savings just from optimizing deceleration. Putting it all together, let's do the math. Smooth acceleration equals 11% savings. Anticipatory driving 8 to 12%. Pulse and coast 10 to 15% on suitable roads. Reduced idling 3 to 5%. Ideal speed 5 to 10% when applicable. Weight reduction 1 to 2%. Deceleration optimization 7 to 9%. These percentages don't stack perfectly. There's overlap, so you can't claim all of them simultaneously. But real-world testing by the Japanese government, with actual drivers, shows consistent total improvements of 20 to 30% when drivers adopt this complete system. With current American gas prices, considering the average American drives about 12,000 miles per year in a car getting around 20 miles per gallon, the savings could reach $1,200 to $1,800 annually. That's almost 3 months of car insurance, or the equivalent of your registration renewal for many states. What makes this even more impressive is that unlike buying a hybrid or electric vehicle, this costs nothing. Zero investment. You can start today on your next drive and begin saving immediately. Why don't Americans do this? Cultural difference. In Japan, eco-driving is taught in driving schools, promoted by the government, and encouraged socially. Companies give bonuses to employees who demonstrate efficient driving. Fleet vehicles have monitoring systems that track acceleration patterns and reward smooth driving. In America, culture glorifies aggressive driving. Acceleration is seen as a sign of a powerful car. Smooth acceleration means you're holding up traffic. Our entire driving culture is built around speed and aggression, not efficiency. The irony is brutal. Americans complain about gas prices, about electric vehicles, about everything. Yet they actively choose the driving habits that waste the most fuel. They buy massive SUVs and pickup trucks. They accelerate like they're at the racetrack. They cruise freeways at 85 miles per hour and then get angry when they spend $120 at the pump. Japanese automakers have known these techniques for decades. That's why their fuel economy ratings always seem slightly optimistic. They test with drivers who actually know how to drive efficiently. When Americans test cars with aggressive driving habits, they get worse numbers and blame the car. The truth is, the driver matters more than the vehicle. A skilled driver in a regular sedan can match or beat an aggressive driver in a hybrid. I've seen Honda Civics and Toyota Corollas with better real-world fuel economy than Priuses simply because of technique. So before you spend $30,000 on a fuel-efficient new vehicle, try spending $0 learning to drive what you already have. Japanese eco-driving isn't about technology. It's about respecting physics, respecting your wallet, and respecting the simple fact that every time you hammer the accelerator, you're burning money. That's it for today. If this video helped you, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Leave a comment below telling me which technique you're going to try first. Thanks for watching Simplifying Cars, and I'll see you in the next video.